the killer having some pattern of like moving 100 miles each time. And it's like, so he's due to be in Cape Side. And I was like, that's a really weird serial killer trait, but okay.
This is Whose Creek Is It?
The podcast where two sisters recap and pontificate about the show Dawson's Creek.
I'm Miranda, and I've seen the whole series at least 5 times.
And I'm Allison, and I'm watching this show for the very first time. Let's get started.
Season 1, Episode 10, titled The Scare.
Excuse me, I believe it's episode 11.
Did I say 10?
Yes, you did.
Shit, okay. I can't read, apparently. Okay. All right, take 2. Season 1, Episode 11, titled The Scare. It came out on May 5th, 1998. The director was Rodman Flender. The writer was Mike White, which I was kind of surprised that it wasn't
Kevin
Kevin
Williamson.
Williams. Yeah.
Is it
It's
it
kind
Williams or Williamson?
of Williams.
Kevin, okay. It was, yeah, for many references to his movies. So, for listeners...
Kevin Williamson, you're right. Okay. Yeah, no, that
I don't
sounds
wanna,
right.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
Nope, it's important to say things correctly. Okay.
It's the end of the workday, towards the end of the week. We are doing our best.
Okay. All right. We start as we always do in Dawson's bedroom, and Dawson and Joey are watching some. Oh no. Did I get disconnected?
No?
Oh, weird. Okay. Sorry, it said I was disconnected.
Yeah, we have listeners, we have a very sophisticated series of tin cans and shoestrings that make this show happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, back to what I was saying. Okay. So, yeah, Dawson and Joey are watching a scary movie, and it's I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was written by Kevin Williamson.
Yep.
And Joey is clearly easily afraid of things or like jumpy about things. Dawson is just giving her a hard time, saying like that she's a big scaredy cat. Also, it happens to be Friday the 13th, which I was curious if this was like supposed to be like a Halloween episode, but it came out in the middle of the year.
Yeah, maybe they like had a Halloween episode drafted, but then they realized it wasn't going to work out in terms of scheduling, but they were really attached to the episode for some reason. So yeah, that was sort of hanging over the whole episode, is like, is Cape Side just like really into the Friday the 13th? What? So yeah, that was kind of, yeah, that whole issue was hanging over it. I feel like you and I spend a lot of time, like every episode we have something where like, so this doesn't make sense. I'm just imagining ways that this might have had to be because of production.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll blow it right now, but apparently on IMDb, so very reputable source,
Mm.
this episode was supposed to be episode 10. So, it kinda makes sense given I mean, I don't know, well, yeah, no, I guess they kinda talk about, like, Dawson and Jen breaking up, which I think happened in episode 9, right?
Let me double check. Oh wait, no, there's I think they broke up in 8 when the boyfriend came. Yeah, they broke up at the end of 8. Then 9 was the road trip, which seemed like this sort of like self-contained adventure. And then 10 was double date. Oh,
Mhm.
but if this was supposed to be 10, then some of what Cliff is saying makes way more sense.
Yeah, and I think, like, Jen's all, like, sad that Dawson didn't play a prank on her and, like, acts like she wants to be his friend still, which in the last episode, she said she rescinded that offer. So
Yeah. Okay, that does make sense. Does IMDb give any reason?
no.
Alrighty. Okay, well now I'm curious why they did that, because I don't think it makes yeah, because narratively it doesn't make a ton of sense. Well, in the Dawson's Creek subreddit, someone said a few of the episodes were aired out of order from how they were filmed, which makes it sort of strange. Someone says that when the DVDs came out, so when it aired, Double Date was 10 and The Scare was 11. But when the DVDs came out, this person is saying that The Scare was number 10 and Double Date was number 11.
Okay. Not still not an explanation, really.
Yeah, and still not a reason why, but
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it had to do something with ratings, like, "Oh, we need you to do this kinda thing next week." I don't know.
so we don't know why, but we are not the only but IMDb is not the only place, and we are not alone in thinking that yeah, something time-wise is off.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so back to the story.
Yeah, and real quick, I was surprised that Joey was a scaredy cat. I was like, why is Joey afraid of this? Joey's whole life is being tough and defensive. Like she's made to be a final girl. Like
Mhm. Yeah, it
it's
it doesn't really make sense because it seems like her guard is always up, so, like, she
yeah.
shouldn't be easily surprised.
Yeah, and also Dawson's love of practical jokes seems kind of out of the blue too.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, it's mostly this episode like, he's not regularly playing pranks on people, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, his all his pranks are really annoying, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, they're watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Joey's getting so scared, and uh, you go, and then you go.
This is gonna be fun to edit. So,
Mm.
yeah, Joey's getting all, like, upset that she's being scared, and Dawson is seeing her being scared, and he's making fun of her. She says, like, scary movies are, like, violent and exploitive, to which Dawson calls her a prude. Joey switches off the movie to the news. Well, she switches to something else first, but then the news, and the she mentions, like, the world's already a scary place,
Mhm.
which yeah, and they switch it to the news, which is talking about the lady killer, which is, like, the laziest serial killer name.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a play on words because, like, lady killer is sometimes used to mean, like, a guy who gets lots of dates, but it's not a very clever name. And I just remember thinking, like, holy shit, there's in this universe on this teen TV show, there's just a serial killer. There's just a serial killer, and that's just part of the world.
Yeah, like, this show is pretty grounded most of the time compared to, like there's plenty of other teen drama shows that are, like, wild, like, teenagers killing teenagers and stuff, but,
Yeah.
like, this is this should be pretty grounded.
Yeah, this isn't Pretty Little Liars or Riverdale.
Yeah. Yeah. Dawson's just bothering her and saying she's, grade A 100% scaredy cat wuss, and
Mhm.
Joey says, "Chew on ice," and I don't know if that's an insult, I guess it is.
I don't know. That sometimes happens, I think, when you're deficient in iron. I think that's maybe a form of pica, which is when you chew or eat non-food items. So, chew on ice. I mean, we should chew on ice. We should all crush ice. We should all crush and melt ice and then send it all to hell.
Where it will melt. Yeah.
Yeah, those evil, evil ice cubes. This is a euphemism, listeners.
Joey starts watching the TV and, like, somehow Dawson just disappears. They're laying on the bed together, but she doesn't notice that he got off the bed.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Yeah.
Yep, and we all know what's coming as this bit continues of like Joey being like, "Where are you?" And
Mhm.
something about the framing tipped me off that like, oh, he's gonna come up the other side of the bed.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so he slides out from under the bed and she freaks out. And yeah, that's about it. She gets mad at him.
Mhm.
And they're just establishing that this episode is on Friday the 13th and spooky things are happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just really thrown by the, like, "And there's a murderer" thing.
Yeah. Which also always in the beginning, it's always like foreshadowing whatever's going to happen in that episode. And I'm like, you're bringing up a serial killer. That seems pretty out of the blue. Seems kind of abnormal. I think it's probably going to come around again.
Yeah, it's not the type of thing that you unless you have, like, a good button punchline at the end, that you can't kinda just leave it's like Chekhov's serial killer.
Yeah. We're now going to the school where Pacey and Dawson are in the hall talking. Pacey knows Dawson's history, apparently, of him playing pranks during scary days or holidays, just whenever it makes sense. And
Mhm.
he's asking Dawson what his plan is. Like, what are you gonna do to scare us, scare people today? And also, he mentions your parents are out of town.
Yeah, because it's hard to hold a seance at midnight. Your parents are there.
Yeah, inviting strange people home is also usually frowned upon.
Oh my god, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But Dawson's answer is basically like, "No, I'm not planning anything. I'm not trying to make my life big and dramatic and cinematic and, like, and look what happened with Jen," and he's basically saying he's done trying to make his life extraordinary, and there's I mean, I know that this isn't it because it's season 1 and he's a teen, but I was like, "Damn." As you get older, you watch people make that choice. And maybe we talk to our therapist about feeling the impending doom of living a great story slipping away from you. I don't know. I don't know. I just thought about that.
It's all gonna change. We're gonna become famous podcasters.
I don't know that that's the dream, but uh, but yeah, but Pacey, he's not buying it. I bet.
Yeah, no, he's not, but he does open his locker and a scary skeleton thingy pops out of his locker, and he seems to be a little scared by it. That, scene ends where they're, like, chummy, and I was like, "I guess they're on good terms," and this was before I figured out that the episodes were out of order. Because I was like
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. If this was So, yeah, if this was supposed to be episode 10, then it would have been right after their road trip when they get back and, like, Pacey's like, "All right, you stood up for yourself." But they haven't had the run-in yet where but they haven't had the conversation where Pacey's like, "Can I kiss Joey?" And Dawson's like, "Yeah, sure, it's fine. Wait, no, it's not." And then Pacey's like, "Get over yourself, she doesn't like me."
yeah. Helpful to know that the episodes were out of order.
Mhm.
Okay, so next we see Jen coming into a classroom and Cliff comes up from behind her and just straight up asks her out. And Jen seems to kind of hesitate about it. Yeah, she's kind of being wishy-washy about it. And then Cliff says, "Oh yeah, you like only date people who aren't fun or something." And
Something.
yeah, to which like Jen is kind of defending Dawson a lot in this episode, which once again, more confusing with the episodes out of order.
Yeah. It moves a lot of things into place if you think of this was supposed to be episode 10.
Mhm.
Especially because he, like, asks her out, I was like, "You guys just went out, and it went badly." And suddenly and Jen also kind of is like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not really looking for that." So sounds like it's sort of like she's kinda putting on the brakes at first, which would be a weird thing to do after you'd already started dating him.
Yeah. Jen goes on to defend Dawson like, "Oh, no, he's fun. He's just, like, fun in his own way."
Mhm.
And then Cliff is not in a super mean way, but he kind of says as an accusation, "Well, then why aren't you with him then?"
Which, like, yeah, this is a pretty good one.
Yeah. So eventually she relents and is like, "Alright, sure."
Sure.
And yeah, all the while, Joey comes in from behind them to sit at her desk, and she's pulling out her notes or something, and she pulls out a fake snake and freaks out.
Yeah. Yeah, Dawson has a lot of toys.
He does. Yeah, so Jen brushes that off and says, "Oh, well, he's got a sense of humor." And then Cliff, so obviously, like, insecure, says, "I have a sense of humor."
Yeah, Cliff was actually, like, really endearing this episode, because he he didn't really have the attitude of like, "Well, now that you're done with that loser," it was more like, "Okay, now's my chance. Let me try to figure out what it is she likes about him so that I could also have those qualities." It wasn't like, "I'm the football stud." It was like, "Oh, I gotta figure this out and figure out how I can be what she wants."
Which is kinda sad, but I will say at the end of the episode, like, I was annoyed with him. I'm like, "You took some things too far."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I know Dawson lied to you, but even still.
Yeah, it just was like someone who clearly had no, like, someone who was just socially inept is what it seemed like, which was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, when he says, "I have a sense of humor," Jen, like, in the most half-heartedly pity kinda way is like, "I know."
Yes, you do. And yeah, just reassuring young men who are obsessed with her.
Yeah. We then go to the cafeteria where Pacey is talking to Joey. Jen is also there, and Pacey's trying to spook Joey, I guess. They say that he, like, cuts out the girls' hearts. Jen also plays it off of like, "Oh, he's really looking for love." He says, "Oh, well, I have a cop brother, so he told me the serial killer goes after girls your age." And I'm like, "Duh." Like, I just like, they'll tell you who he killed. Like,
Yeah, yeah, we don't need
that's public news.
yeah, we don't need your brother. But the thing that got to me was, like, one of the I think it was Dawson alluded to the killer having some pattern of, like, moving 100 miles each time, and it's like, "So he's due
Right.
to be in Cape Side," and I was like, "That's a really weird serial killer trait, but okay."
Also, I did wanna comment that Pacey, like, to start the scene, they show Pacey squirting ketchup out of a ketchup bottle, and I was like, I don't think high schools have ketchup bottles just on tables. That feels like a bad idea.
I think it probably depends on the high school. It's a big world with different yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
guess.
sure at our high school, it would have been, like, ketchup packets at best.
Yeah. Maybe one of those ketchup pumps.
Yeah, we also didn't have trays and plates, I think.
We ate outside, not at tables.
Yeah, we ate, like, there were some tables, but, like, people just sat on the ground and, like, if you bought lunch, it was, like, either wrapped in foil or it was in a little paper boat.
Don't forget the cheeseburgers, like the 2 cheeseburgers that would come wrapped in plastic that they cooked it in the
Oh,
plastic.
I never ate those, no thank you. Although they had these, like, cookies that were pretty good, and I don't know why. They were just
Me too, I remember that in the high school, yeah, I think they actually, like, made the cookies or something because they give you a pack of 2, and they were 50 cents, and that was pretty much my lunch every day.
yeah, that was a lot of people's, yeah. Um, we were f like, we had the trappings of middle class, but you and I were a little feral.
I mean, I've lived alone a long time, and I'm like, "I can't have anybody see me like this."
Just yeah, but, Pacey he's squirting ketchup, but I see what you mean of, like, having squirtable ketchup bottles, is begging for a food fight.
Yeah. They kinda need it to establish the very ketchupy, bloody-looking fries for what
Yeah.
happens soon. Yeah, so Dawson sneaks up on Joey while she's getting all scared by, like, what Pacey is telling her and reacts as expected. Dawson then invites everyone to a seance at his house.
Yep.
To which Jen's like, "Oh, I can't go. Like, I have a date."
Yep.
Dawson, while speaking to Jen, puts a fake finger in Pacey's fries, like a
Yep.
fake bloody finger. There's the back and forth where Jen is like, "Does that bother you?" And Dawson's like, "I don't know. Not really. It doesn't bother me. Does it bother you that it doesn't bother me?" And I'm like, "Okay, come on."
Yeah. Which also makes more sense in episode 10 than in 11 because it's not quite as charged. It's like
Mhm.
awkward, but not like quite as extreme.
Yeah. Pacey's not paying attention, just grabbing the fries but blindly, and he manages to stick it in his mouth and try to bite down on it before he realizes that it's a fake finger.
It's like,
Uh,
wow, good job, Dawson.
and Jen seems to be upset that Dawson hasn't done anything to try to scare her. And that's when she says, like, we're still friends, right? Which, once again, makes sense now that we know the order.
Hmm.
Yeah, so then we cut to Dawson's film class. The teacher is talking about John Carpenter's movies, I guess was a director, and
Yeah.
you would know better than I would probably.
Yeah, his best known is he created the Halloween franchise.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, and then also well known for a movie called The Thing, which is very highly regarded. Yeah, still alive. He's 78 years old now, and is regarded as like, one of the great horror filmmakers.
Mhm.
Although I was not really expecting that to be studied in a high school film class.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're just doing the thing again where, like, foreshadowing kind of where he says, "Oh, well, he does this kind of framing in his movies that, like, elicits fear."
Mhm.
And anyway, so the bell rings, and that's when Cliff catches Dawson to ask advice about what to do on his date with Jen.
Which was so bizarre. It was like, why would you ask the person she just broke up with?
Mhm.
Like, it just seems like has seemed relatively normal up till now, but this episode, he just seems like he has no he seems kind of like Dawson, has no concept of other people and their emotions.
Mhm. Yeah,
But he bugs Dawson, and I think Dawson's like, "Well, I'll think about it."
yeah. We see Jen at her locker next, and she opens it to find a note that just says, "You are going to die tonight."
And then there's the really creepy use of like camera where it's like zooming in and zooming out at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they maybe had to talk about that because, like, if they hadn't mentioned it in the film class, it would be like, "Well, this is different."
Yeah, I didn't really notice it in I didn't really notice them talking about it in the film class, maybe because I was just thinking, so Dawson's like in the film class now? But yeah, that was like a cinematography that was like a sign in the cinematography that they're like, "We're doing something different."
Mhm. While she's looking at this concerning note, Cliff, comes up from behind her and scares her. I think just, double checking about their date later that night. Meanwhile, Jen is accusing Dawson of being the person who left this, like, really weird note in her locker.
Yeah.
Not great to mention your ex-boyfriend in front of other, like, potential new boyfriends, but,
Yeah, yeah, the whole thing was a little strange and, like, but I understand her not believing Dawson when he denied it.
Yeah, no, totally. You're right. Next, we go to Jen at her house, so time jump, and
Mhm,
she's in the kitchen, and the phone rings, and she picks it up. This guy on the phone, who we're not sure who it is
mhm.
asking her weird questions, like, "What's your favorite movie?" and, like, "What's your name?" To which she's like, "Oh, I know this movie," and she says, "I'm Drew Barrymore."
Yeah, yeah, Drew Barrymore and Scream, and then the note in her locker is right out of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of
Mm,
hoping, maybe I missed it, but I was kind of hoping for like a third Kevin Williamson reference, although those are probably his two best known things.
mhm. Yeah, if there's something else that went over my head too. Anyway, but yeah, Jen's trying to act like she's not freaked out by this phone call, and she's like, "Oh, are you the lady killer?" To which the guy's like, "Maybe."
Mm-hmm.
And then she does say this really corny thing about like, "Are you coming?" Well, she asks if you're coming to cut my heart out, to which he says, "Maybe." And she says "Well, find a better heart. Mine's a little dented."
Oh my God. Uh,
Yeah, so anyway, this phone call just keeps going on, and, like, I'm like, I don't know if I would stay on the phone with this person," but
it goes on a long time.
yeah, yeah. So she starts pacing, you can kinda tell she's, like, starting to get a little nervous. The guy kind of insinuates that he's very close, like he's maybe in the house. So then she
Hmm.
goes and picks up a butcher's knife.
Real big knife.
Yeah, and then he said the guy on the phone asks, like, "How's your grandfather?" And it's like, "Oh, yeah, that guy." So at this point, she's very clearly afraid. She admits that she's afraid to whoever this person is on the phone. And
Hmm.
she goes to her grandfather's room, and the guy says, "Don't look under the bed." So, of course, she looks. And
Yeah.
the only thing that happens is grandpa's hand falls on her.
Yeah. Which, kid, the caller, whoever he is, couldn't possibly have known, but would be really, really creepy.
Hmm. She sees that the front door handle is like jiggling, like someone's trying to get in.
Hmm.
And then she sees the back door is open and starts going that way, and then somehow Grams pops up behind her, and she almost kills her grandmother.
Yeah, she has that knife pulled out. And yeah, and Grams doesn't even say anything. Like, I don't know. Grams has seen some shit, I guess, because she's just like, yeah, whatever.
"Hey, it's okay, I just forgot my key."
Hmm.
But yeah, it's funny how, like, the grandfather's hand falling and her grandmother trying to get in while this phone call is happening is real convenient.
Yeah.
Um, and then the conversation on the phone ends when she's asking the guy, "Who are you?" And the guy just says, "Soon, Jennifer, soon."
Doesn't she also, on the phone, doesn't she assume it's Dawson? She keeps asking, are you
Yes,
Dawson?
that is true. Yeah, she keeps accusing it, and this guy's like, "Who's Dawson? Why do you think it's Dawson?"
Hmm.
But yeah, when the phone call ends, I was like, "Maybe do something." Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if calling the police is gonna do something, but, like, I don't know, do something. Stay at
Yeah, I mean,
home that night, I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I was like, that seems like maybe you document that and maybe call the non-emergency. I don't know. Just, you gotta, I don't know. But
Yeah.
everyone just moves on.
Mhm. Dawson is getting ready for his seance, and he's on the porch trying to hang a noosed baby doll, it appears.
As you do.
But while he's trying to do that, Joey comes into the porch, so he like chucks it, so she catches him up to
Yeah.
mischief. I don't know. Oh, they also like kind of have like a little. I want to say it's wrestling, but they're very like every once in a while they get into little tips where they're like tickling each other, or just kind of like handling each other a little more than like
Yeah, very, very physically intimate.
yeah, yeah. While they are on the porch, Pacey pulls up and he's going to take them to the grocery store for the preparation of the seance.
Hmm.
And Pacey's just really upbeat and vibing.
Yeah, Pacey's having a great time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Joey's like, "Do I have to get in his car?"
Yeah, because turns out Pacey's not a great driver.
Yeah, it's insinuated once they get to the grocery store that he's not supposed to be driving that car.
He essentially, like, hot-wired it and took it from his family's car.
Mhm. Which I liked it when he said, you borrow from family, you never steal." But yeah, he says, like, he can't turn off the car because of whatever he did to it, hot wiring or whatever. So the
Mhm.
car's running, and they leave Joey alone in the car because the car's running, I guess. So Dawson and Pacey go into the store. Pacey and Dawson see a couple fighting in the store. They use the word wench, which is fun. And Pacey's like, "Should we do something?" To which Dawson says it's a domestic squabble, back off, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do."
No, because 'cause they're not just they are physically engaging.
Mhm.
Like, it's not he is getting all up in her face in a very intimidating and threatening way, but for some reason, good guy Dawson's like, "Nah, stay out of it."
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very weird, like, I learned at some point that people are less likely to intervene in, like, an argument if they think the people know each other, and especially if they're, like, romantically together.
Mhm.
Which is very sad. That seems like it makes it more not okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've heard that if you're in an argument with someone you know in public and you feel unsafe, you should say out loud, "I don't know you," or "I don't know this person," because people are more likely to get involved.
yeah. I could see that.
So this fight continues until the guy appears to leave the woman by
Mhm, he's, like,
herself.
rushing out, and she tries to, like, go after him at first, which is, like it's just a heartbreaking thing to see because that is such a dynamic of, like, you see people fighting who are obviously not good for each other, at least right now, and then one of them tries to go and the other person tries to follow, and it's just such a bummer to watch. But eventually the
Yeah.
guy does storm out and leave, and she stays in the store.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's weird because she's, like, yelling at the guy, and then she turns around and, like, turns on a dime and is like, "Oh, hi."
"Hi, boys." Yeah,
Yeah.
and that just it reminded me so much like, I don't know about you, but I've had those experiences where you're out and in somewhere like a grocery store or something, and someone who you already can tell is a little off, they just set their eyes on you and, like, won't let go, and I was like, "Oh, this is uncomfortable. That this is a real thing that happens." There are people out in the world who you see them already being erratic, and then they
Mhm.
notice you.
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh, no."
But Pacey's like, "She's gonna buy me wine and maybe sex?"
Yeah, she goes up to them and is like, "Oh, are you having a party?" I guess based on whatever they're buying. And Pacey just immediately says, like, he's just shy of turning 21.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause he thinks that she's gonna buy them booze, but instead of buying it, she just steals it.
Yep, and the shopkeeper is paying 0 attention to all of the yelling.
He's like, "Look, I just work here."
Yeah. So, yeah, she just puts it, like, inside her jacket or something, or purse.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, so we cut to Joey just sitting in the car, and suddenly, like, a man comes into view right next to her through the window. So she gets a little jumpy because she wasn't expecting this dude to just be, like, right outside of the window that she's sitting next to.
Mhm.
And he asks her for directions.
Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah, get on that road, and then you'll hit the highway."
Yeah,
It's not a complicated.
yeah. And while she's saying all this, he's not really, like, following where she's pointing, he's just, like, intensely staring at her.
Mhm. To her credit, she only rolls the window down part way, which was if you're gonna talk to someone you don't know through a window, that's what you do, especially if that person's a cop. This guy
Yeah,
was not, but just pointing it out, guys.
yeah, and if you're gonna roll the window down to someone you don't know, make sure it's small enough they can't get their hand through. Anyway,
Yeah, so they're talking.
Yeah. Joey catches that he's just, like, staring at her, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, was I staring? You just have the most beautiful, intense eyes," which that is so creepy and scary.
That's a lot to yeah, I feel like that's a compliment that requires, like, an existing level of intimacy.
Yeah.
That's not a, like, "I just met you," just like, "Oh, wow, you have such cool eyes," or "Such beautiful eyes."
It's also just weird because this is an older guy.
And she's very much a child.
Yeah. But Joey says, like, "Thanks." Yeah, and then he starts asking her personal questions of like, well, yeah, he asks like, "Oh, well, maybe I should spend the night," or and then he's like, "Well, do you live nearby?" And that's when Dawson comes up and sees this whole situation and kind of scares him off. He's like, "Hey, need something?"
Yeah, and, like, Joey seems like the littlest bit suspicious. She's kind of being like, "Yeah, the hotel's over there," but she was definitely being more polite and playing along more than I would expect from her.
But yeah, so it scares the guy off. He leaves, and Dawson gets into the car and he's like, "Don't you know you're not supposed to talk to strangers? And he could be the killer." And I like this line, "It's the '90s, you gotta be careful."
Ooh, man, 90s.
I mean, people didn't have phones. That's a little
They
scary to
didn't have
think about now.
phones. And 90s, we were still the 90s was the most modern things had ever been at that point. All
Yeah.
seems very quaint now.
Mhm. Pacey meets the weird woman outside of the store, and the woman gives him the bottle of wine she stole. He picks it up and reads it and mispronounces it like in the most funny way. It's Cabernet Sauvignon, but he says like Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah, it's something it's like clearly someone who has never knows nothing about wine.
Yeah. And this is when Pacey's like, "Hey, you should join us."
Yeah, let's just invite the erratic older lady that stole wine to your friend's house when there's no adults around.
Mhm. And then right then, the boyfriend comes out of nowhere and starts running up to them, and they just run to the car. And the guy's being
Mhm.
really scary, trying to open all the doors, and they're like panicking while trying to lock their doors.
Yeah.
And then they drive off.
Yeah. If I were Dawson or Joey, I would just be like, "So where are we dropping her off?
Yes.
Where are we dropping her off, Pacey?"
Yeah. Perhaps a police station or a library or a therapist.
Or something, yeah.
Cliff is coming to pick up Jen for their date. He's on the porch and knocks on the door. Grams and Jen are right there. Grams seems real smitten with Cliff. She calls him Clifford, which is very funny.
Yeah, and I forget all the things she lists, but that, like, he's, a football player, honor roll student, and he goes to church every Sunday.
So you know he's a good one.
Yeah. And when you're a child or a teen, going to church every Sunday means nothing more than your parents make you go to church.
Yeah. Yeah, Grams is like, just make sure she gets back by midnight, which I'm like, damn, that's late. But apparently afterward, and Jen's like, well, she seems to really like you.
Yeah.
And she says that that's not a good sign.
Yeah, yeah, I got that too, where, yeah, no, it's not attractive to me that my repressed grandmother loves you so much.
Yeah. There have been times where I can't even remember what guy it was years ago, but I remember I liked him, but then I had the realization that mom and dad would maybe like them more than they like me even, and I was like, "Oh, that's a turn off."
That's you'll have to tell me that story sometime.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know if I remember who it was. I just remember having that thought and thinking it was funny. It's like, I don't want my parents to hate a guy I'm dating, but I don't I don't want them to enjoy their company more than they enjoy mine. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want them to be chummy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, if they're getting too close with your parents or you sense they'd get along too well with your parents, there's a little bit of you that's like, I need to know that you're on my side if there's anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Jen is asking what they're gonna do on their date, and Cliff just drops, "Oh, we're going to Dawson's."
Because apparently they're going to the seance.
Yes.
And just Cliff, what? Buddy, that you seem to be a relatively he seems to be a stereotypical high school popular jock. You've been on dates before. Why would you do this? But he did it.
Yeah. Which Jen seemed thrilled.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm. So they head on over to Dawson's, and that strange lady is there, which eventually we learn her name is Ursula.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it has anything to do with the Disney character, if that's just like her name.
Yeah. It is a name.
Yeah. All the people there. So who's all there now? Let's see. Jen, Cliff, Dawson, Joey,
Pacey.
Pacey. Yeah. They're all just like, who is this woman?
Yeah. They've got the like snacks and groceries with them, and she says something like, "Oh, well, it's not cold, so we have to put ice in the Cabernet Sauvignon," which I don't know much about wine, but I do know that you don't put ice into it unless it's sangria, and you also don't usually serve red wine chilled.
Yeah.
It's like cellar temperature, like not maybe a tad below room temperature, but you don't like put you'd probably know this better than me, but like I don't think you put a Cabernet Sauvignon in the fridge.
I mean, yeah, not really. You're not really supposed to, but I understand like if you don't have like a light chiller wanting to put it in the fridge or something for a little bit just so it's not fully room temperature.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, and no judgment on that to anybody who puts ice in their wine. I don't care or have any opinion really. But it was just like, so this is the adult you brought home.
Yes.
This erratic, childlike adult.
I mean, if she was a true adult, she wouldn't have gone home with these people.
Adults do lots of stupid things.
Yeah. Since Jen is there and Dawson's there, she like confronts him about, "Hey, I saw that note you wrote me and I got your phone call." And Dawson's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
Yeah.
The scene ends with Cliff kind of seeming like pleased with himself that he thought of this idea to take her to to the séance, and he's just like, "This is a great idea."
Granted, yeah, and he says something about it being like a great first date. And now that we know that this was supposed to be episode 10, it makes more sense. But I was like, bro, isn't this like your third date with her? Because didn't he
Yeah.
go on a date before she officially got with Dawson?
Yeah, to the dance, yeah.
But okay, I now see that like post that relationship, if the episodes are out of order, that I could see why he would say that.
Yeah. Jen and Joey, they're going to get, like, the seance stuff out of the closet, and Jen is asking Joey, like, "Whose idea was this?" And Joey's like, "I don't know, probably Cliff? He's the one who brought you here?" And she's like, "Oh, no, he's not that inventive."
Yeah, it just couldn't be clearer that she has no real interest in Cliff.
Yeah. I wish I could be the kind of person who's like, "Yeah, let's go on a date, it doesn't mean anything."
It feels dishonest, but I realize that many people don't feel that way because they don't see it. I guess when I go on a date with someone, it like beyond a first date, it feels like you're sort of saying like, "Yes, I am expressing interest in you." But if you're so completely lukewarm about someone, I feel bad accepting another date because I'm just like, I don't think this is going anywhere, so it's kind of not fair to you to not say that.
Yeah, don't waste their time.
But you and I are grade A excellent daters.
Yep.
Not that Jen is fabulous, but
She's the opposite direction.
yeah, Jen's like, I guess yeah, sure. She's easily led. She says, "Oh, I don't think so," one time, and then she's like, "Well, I guess so."
Yeah. So now they're gathered around this table, which is really cool. Like, I have not seen this table before. It has like lights around the edge and it's all like spooky and all the lights are off and
Yeah. It's just like lighting embedded in the table so that everyone has like low angle lighting, like a campfire.
yeah. So they're like, well, who should we channel? Like, who should we summon here? And they're like, how about a victim of the lady killer? We can ask them who it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, remember those relatively local women who were murdered recently? We should try to chat with them in like a fun date way.
Yeah. Dawson starts talking about the lady killer, and he's like, "Oh well, these he stalks them and writes them letters or whatever." Like basically, just kind of stating what has been happening to Jen so far. So I understand
Mhm.
why she's like very suspicious.
Yeah.
They're trying to change like the conversation to something else. Joey's like, "I don't want to talk about this."
Yeah, and they start sort of telling spooky stories, right?
Yeah.
The weirdest story, at least for me, was when Cliff decided to tell a spooky story. And it's essentially that a woman driving around with her baby stops to go pick blueberries in a blueberry field, as normal people do in 1998. This is normal activity. And so she leaves the door to the car open so she can hear the baby if the baby cries for her. But she goes off picking blueberries, like people do, and realizes she hadn't heard the baby, and then comes back and realizes that an enormous snake has crawled down the baby's mouth. And at this point, I'm just like, what is happening? I was looking weird at it when it was like she stops to go blueberry picking. I'm like, what is this Heidi Pollyanna stuff? And then, but yeah, then he's like, then the snake's gone down the baby's throat, so obviously you can't hear the baby. And she pulls the snake out and it takes the baby's insides with it. And I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah, it does not land. Everyone says that's not scary. It's just gross.
Why? I,
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to be reading social cues, particularly Jen's.
yeah, that's maybe extreme, but yeah, he's trying so hard and not picking up any of the signals.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I was starting to think, I'm like, how is this guy popular? Because they kind of make it seem like he's popular, but he seems like to not have a personality that is would be for a popular person. He's just like seems to be missing the point, misunderstanding.
Yeah, and well, maybe it's. I mean, I don't know if you've ever experienced this where you're around someone you really like, and suddenly everything you say is the dumbest thing you've ever said. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes a bit of sense. If he's like head over heels for Jen, maybe he just like his brain cannot function normally around her.
Mhm.
And that's us just giving Cliff some credit and hoping the best
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah. So after he tells his odd story, Ursula's like, "Oh, I have a good story." And she says, "Oh, well, these kids met this woman and they invited her back to their house. But the thing is this woman is a little ill and she carries a knife in her purse to slice open people's throats."
Mm-hmm.
And then the power cuts out.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but clearly trying to scare these kids or
Mm-hmm.
just being crazy, it's hard to say.
Yep.
But anyway, so the power cuts, everyone starts blaming Dawson immediately, and Jen's like, "I'm gonna call the electric company."
Yeah, although it did occur to me, I was like, Don't phones need electricity?
I forgot about that. I think actually, like, old phones, like
It was just the phone line, maybe.
yeah, I don't know how that science works.
But she tries to, but it turns out the phone's dead also.
Yeah. And so they're like, "Well, maybe it's the lady killer." I'm like, "You guys are a little obsessed."
Yeah.
But they show Pacey looking, like, scared too, so they're like, "This is serious, everyone's pretty scared." And then I think it's Dawson's bright idea, like, when bad things are happening or scary things are happening, let's split up. Let some people go
Yeah.
get flashlights, other people lock the doors. I'm gonna check the fuse.
Yep.
So Pacey and Joey are locking doors, I guess, and Pacey's blaming Dawson about this whole situation, and Joey's like, "This aside, you bringing this lady is the creepiest, worst thing happening right now." And
Yeah.
then she compares it to when he was dating Tamara. She's
Yeah.
like, "You remember what happened with her, right?" And I'm like, I don't know. I guess they dabble a little bit in this episode. Like maybe Pacey's physically interested in this woman and stuff, but it also doesn't fully come off that way. So it's a little confusing. But Joey's upset that he brought her and thinks that something bad's gonna happen because of that. And
Mhm.
she also says, "You have the worst taste in women."
And that also makes so much more sense because this would have, if this were episode 10, this would be the episode before Pacey decides he likes her.
Mhm. We're sleuthing it.
Yeah.
Pacey then calls her out by saying, "Oh, well, at least I'm not, like, pining for my friend that I've had my whole life," and says that she's in, like, denial. They then hear a noise that I guess they think is from upstairs, so they start heading up the stairs with Pacey leading and Joey's kinda, like, egging him on, and then
Mhm.
a swinging fake axe thingy comes, like, back and forth across the
Oh,
stairs like it
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, now I remember that, and I remember being like, "Is that gonna be addressed?" And it wasn't really.
No, just another one of Dawson's pranks, which I'm like, "Man, he had a lot of time to set up."
Yep.
Jen and Cliff go upstairs, assumedly looking for flashlights, and somehow Cliff gets away from Jen, so she's, like, looking for him, and then he pops out of a room and scares her.
Yeah.
She says to him, like, "I think Dawson's setting us up, like, I think this whole thing is fake."
Mhm.
And then they look over and on the mirror is the same message that she got earlier saying, "You are going to die tonight."
Yeah, it's like on a mirror in a closet.
Yeah, yeah, that too. I'm like, "Who's checking themselves out in the closet?" But okay.
And it was about this time in the episode where maybe it was Cliff, like, jumping out to scare her. That's when it first occurred to me of, like, could Cliff be the weird caller? I was like, "Is this what Cliff thinks being creative is?" 'Cause it's but, yeah, they see what looks like the message is written in red. It's probably like lipstick, but, I'm sure the assumption is supposed to be that it's blood somehow.
Mhm. Yeah, and when Jen is accusing Dawson of all this, Cliff asks, "Well, what if it's not Dawson? What if it's a psychopath really trying to kill you?" And I'm like, "Buddy."
Yeah. Also, I just want to call out that I'm sure this isn't the first time, but I just noticed how Jen's wearing a short-sleeved turtleneck, which always seemed a strange look to me, but no, I'm not particularly fashionable. It just seemed like an odd choice. If your neck needs shelter, but your forearms don't.
Then Dawson is at the breakers with Ursula and seems to be pretty scared of her.
I wouldn't wanna be in the dark in, like, basically a closet with a woman an unstable woman I picked up in basically a liquor store.
Yeah. he seems to think that she's gonna stab him, and when she realizes this is what he's thinking, she's like, "Oh, I don't stab people. I shoot them in the head with a pistol."
Yeah.
But then she's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." Then we see like it cut to like a further away shot where it seems like someone is watching the two of them while they're at the breaker system. And we're like,
Mm.
"Who is that?"
Mm.
They get into the conversation of Ursula's boyfriend, and she says he was arrested for assault and battery. And I'm like, is she lying? Is this real? It's very possible that it's either. And
Mhm.
then she says the thing of like, he's a monster, but he's my monster.
And God, the number of people who will live that way.
Yeah.
Just the number of people who will be like, well, they treat me terribly and make me both terribly sad and also afraid in my home, but I don't want to be lonely.
Which, like, get a cat, get a turtle, get a bird.
And I think that's, well, one of the things that makes Ursula so unsettling is the sort of emotional seesaw of like anger towards this guy, I forget his name, but then affection for him. And at least for me, that sort of like emotional inconsistency is alarming.
Yeah, absolutely. But then she starts talking about Dawson, and he's like, I could tell something's going on with one of the girls in there. And she's like, it's obvious that you broke up with her, but I can tell she still wants you, that, she still cares for you. Uh,
Hmm.
and then Dawson kind of rolls his eyes at it and thinks that she's talking about Jen, but then she's like, "No, I was talking about the brunette."
Yeah. Well, and she says something like, oh, well, then this is easy. You've just been dating the wrong person.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, yeah, that's the problem."
Which sometimes scary, erratic people can speak the truth.
Mhm. They're really in tune with vibes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but then Dawson does the thing where what he always does, he's like, "Oh, Joey and I have this intense friendship."
Which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Ursula does not believe him.
Yeah, she's like, sure, okay.
Yeah. And then Dawson admits to her, he's like, "Yeah, it's weird. I did plan for the power to cut out, but it looks like someone's like messed with this."
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I knew the power was gonna go out at, like, this time, but it looks like someone's actually been messing with it."
Hmm. So then Dawson comes back inside, unsuccessful with turning the power back on, and everyone's kind of huddled together in the kitchen, I guess.
Mhm.
And but he doesn't see Joey. He's like, "Where's Joey?" And they're like, "Oh, well, she went to like go find you." To which he freaks out. He's like, "Why'd you leave her alone?" And then he is looking for her and hears a sound coming from like the downstairs closet, and opens it to find Joey falling out of the closet, appearing to be dead.
Mhm. Yeah, that was a weird moment as a viewer because I'm, like, watching this and I was like, "I know she's not dead. This is not the type of show that kills off one of its main characters in the first season." Although, that is something that essentially Kevin Williamson did in Scream. That was one of the big gags of the movie was that the what was supposed to be the star, Drew Barrymore, gets killed in the first 5-10 minutes. But I
Yeah.
knew realistically that Joey was not actually dead, so I'm like, "Where is this going?"
Yeah, but I was like, that wouldn't that be great if that did happen? I love Joey, but that would be a wild turn.
That would, yeah. That's like season 5 of Riverdale or something, that's what would happen.
Yeah. So, and then while he's freaked out above Joey, trying to like see if she's dead, there's a
Mhm.
shadow coming up beside him. The shadow has a knife. And
Mm.
then it is revealed that it's Jen.
Yeah.
And everyone says, "Yeah, we were just trying to get back at you."
Yeah, and I love the idea of Jen and Joey working together. I love when they realize they don't have to be enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like you 2 are such a powerful duo when you get along.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah, and then Jen's like, "Well, I had to get you back for those weird notes and the call," and Dawson's like, once again, like, "I didn't do it."
yeah.
Then Jen follows him into his bedroom. I forget why he went up there. I guess he was just mad that everyone, like, was successful in pranking him.
Guess so?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they come up to the bedroom later because 'cause they're worried about something.
Mhm.
But so Jen is like, "Did you really not do all those things?" And Dawson's like, "Maybe it's the lady killer." I'm like, "Can you guys stop saying that?"
Yeah. For 1 minute, can you guys stop assuming it's this weird thing?
Yeah, and saying the worst case scenario for Jen. Anyway,
Yeah.
but then Jen reveals that she's offended by the fact that Dawson hasn't played any pranks on her.
Yeah. And I was like, "Sorry, are you actually scared, Jen, or are you insecure? Pick one for now."
Yeah, no, the scene is totally, like, nonsensical. It turns into a conversation of like, "Yeah, why haven't you played any tricks on me?" And then Dawson's like, "Well, you broke up with me, and I just kind of figured you would not want that."
Yeah.
Then he does admit that he gave Cliff the idea to, like, come over because he thought he was helping Cliff out. And is that a
Mhm.
lie? Is that the truth? I'm not really sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dawson's like, I'm just trying to get over you." And then she's like, "Or watch over me." And then it weirdly, Dawson's like caressing her face and they almost kiss. And I'm just like, "Ma'am, I wouldn't be horny or kissy desiring if I think maybe someone's threatening to kill me."
Yeah, it is like but yeah, I do remember that moment where Jen's like, "Oh, we shouldn't." Like, "What are we doing here, guys?"
Yeah, no, it's all over the place. But yeah,
Mhm.
as she leaves, she's like, "Well, don't cross me off any lists."
Don't
Which is
cross me
like,
off the horrific pranking list.
yeah. Pacey is now alone with Ursula, and he's asking her if she's scared by this whole situation, but she seems unfazed. They're out on the porch while they're having this discussion, and we once again get that weird wider shot where it seems like maybe someone's watching them.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is when Pacey says, "I may look young, but I have been with older women before."
Yeah. Okay, Pacey.
I'm like, "It's one man before, not
Yeah.
women."
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So then Pacey hears a noise, and they're just, like, listening for whatever that noise might be, and then all of a sudden, Ursula's boyfriend bursts through the patio door.
Yeah, just comes in like a wrecking ball, like, full of piss and vinegar and anger and probably a lot of liquor.
Yeah, that door was made of, like, balsa wood, just the thinnest.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ursula, like, pushes Pacey towards her boyfriend and is like, "Get him!"
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, Pacey'll handle this," and Pacey's like, "I'm 16."
Yeah. So then Cliff comes to the door, I guess like, "Hey, what was that noise?" And
Yeah.
Ursula and Pacey turn around and run inside, managing to not have Ursula's boyfriend run in after them. And then he's at the door, he's yelling, "I'll kill the both of you." And
Yeah.
Ursula's egging him on by saying like, "Oh, Pacey's my man now."
Like,
And
"Oh,
Pacey's just like,
Lord."
"Shut up."
Yeah. And Pacey, this is why you don't pick up strange, older, erratic women at the grocery store.
Mhm. Ursula says to her boyfriend, "Oh, don't do anything. I'll call the police." And then Dawson's like, "I disconnected the phone line." And then the guy breaks through the glass of the door.
Yep, does actual damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
does actual damage, which I'm like, how are they going to explain this to Dawson's parents?
I mean, they're probably just relieved to have something to pay attention to that's not infidelity.
They're like, "You broke a window."
Yeah,
Alright.
they're like, "We can be on the same page about this, hopefully."
He's trying to get in. For some reason, he can't get in through that door, so he runs off, and everyone's like, "Oh crap, he's gonna find a different way to get in." So they all start running around, locking windows and doors, fortifying
Mhm.
everything. Weirdly, someone pulls out like chain, like a metal chain, and wraps the doors, and I'm like, who has just chain lying around? But okay.
Yeah, but then they realize that the guy has probably found another way in.
Yeah, yeah, they were like, "Oh, the ladder up to Dawson's bedroom." So they go to check that out, and they tell Pacey, "Go out over to Jen's house and call the police, like, call for help." So while a lot of them are upstairs expecting the guy to be inside up there because the window was open. So,
Mhm.
they assumed he was somewhere up there. And while Pacey is running out the door to go to Jen's, the guy comes in when Pacey opens the door to leave.
Yep.
He starts, like, attacking Pacey, kinda gets him down on the ground, I think.
Strangling him, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty serious. But then I thought this was some comedic relief, is that Joey comes up from behind and hits him with a frying pan.
Yes, and then she does it again, and then she's, like, basically on top of him hitting with the frying pan, and I'm just like, "Joey is going to kill this man."
Yeah, I was like, "He gonna die."
Yeah, frying pans can kill.
Yeah, the way she's swinging it, I just thought was so funny. But anyway, Ursula pulls her away and I guess feels sorry for her boyfriend, and so they kinda make up and apologize. So Ursula says, "These kids are weird."
I mean, yes, but you're weirder.
They go to leave, and then she's like, "Oh, sorry about the damage. I work at the bowling alley. I'll give you a discount on your shoes." And
Yeah,
Dawson's just like, "Thanks."
and now they know never to go to that bowling alley again, because God knows what will happen.
But here's the thing. So I was a little disappointed because honestly, I think this story would maybe be better if it was truly like this couple playing a prank on all of them. Like, let's scare these kids.
I could see that.
It didn't come out that way. They ended up being like, "No, we really are crazy."
I don't know, that part was what felt the realest about the episode to me, was how you just run into people and realize how grounded and normal your life is based on these, like, quick interactions with someone who's clearly living on the edge.
Mhm.
So, I could see why narratively that would be fun, but, just meeting a strange person that is really unnerving and kinda tries to stick with you, that was kind of the most the best I was able to connect with in this episode.
Yeah, I get it. There have been times I've met people, like, in the wild, and I meet them, and then, like, me and some other friends just will go hang out with them somewhere, like, same day, And we
Mhm.
think this person's really great, and then, like, you start to hear more about them, and you're like, "Oh, no."
Yeah, yeah, that moment yeah, that's a jarring experience when you're talking to someone and you're like, "Yeah, this is my kind of person," and then they say that one thing and you're like, "Oh, no. No, no,
"How do I get
no."
out of here?"
Is my face already betraying how much I want to leave?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, that wraps up the seance. Cliff is walking Jen home, the, like, 30 steps to home.
Mhm.
He says, like, I guess is talking about the night, and he's like, I thought you liked to be scared." And she said, "No."
Yeah, and it turns out Dawson apparently had told him that she loves to be scared, and
Yeah.
Cliff is just like, "Great."
Yeah, and then he fesses up to, like, how he's been feeling. He's like, "I like you, I think you're great, but I'm worried you like Dawson because he's creative, and you might think that I'm, like, too stiff or, like, uncreative."
Which honestly, that conversation, like, he felt really sweet in that conversation of just being honest about his insecurities and being and at no point was he putting Dawson down. He was just like,
Mhm.
"This is a thing that in this situation I am insecure about and kinda wish I could be more like him in this way.
Yeah, so Jen finds out that all the weird stuff Cliff's been doing. Well, not all the weird stuff. He did fully tell that weird blueberry story by his own choice, but like a lot of what he's been doing, he was put up to do by Dawson's advice.
Yeah. Which is still wild things to do.
Yeah. Jen kind of makes it seem like, I mean, I think Cliff can kind of tell like maybe this couple thing, like maybe dating each other isn't going to work out.
Yeah.
And but Jen is nice when she says, you know, like I don't really want a boyfriend right now, but if I did, I'd want you to just be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have a short scene of Pacey running out of the house, being really scared. He gets into his car, which by the way starts just fine. He was like saying he doesn't have the keys and it's an effort to turn it on.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Cliff takes Jen to her front door, asks for a goodnight kiss. Jen's kind of like, once again, not saying no. They almost kiss, but then Grams opens the door and interrupts them. And
Mhm.
Jen seems relieved.
Yeah, and Grams is like, "No, keep kissing."
Yeah. She's like, I'll leave you alone.
Which is so out of, because she seems so obsessed with protecting her from Dawson. Is like, is just the difference, is it the church thing? Is the, like, being the jock? I why is Grams
Yeah.
so into Cliff?
I mean, yeah, Grams probably grew up in a time where everyone wanted to date the football star or like in theory, you know,
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you should wanna be with the more popular person and this person who I believe is well behaved and whatever." But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's weird. Jen makes a joke of like, "I think my grandmother has the hots for you." And he's like, "Well, I have a crush on someone else." And
Yeah.
Jen's like, "Good night."
Like, kisses him on the cheek. It's,
Yeah.
and I think, like, he can tell she's not that into him.
Mhm. Yeah. Jen comes in, Grams is at the kitchen table and says that you have
Mm.
some mail. So Jen opens this letter and I don't even know what kind of thing this is, but I guess it like shocks you when you open the letter or it
It
makes a
makes a
noise.
noise. Yeah,
Okay.
it makes, I feel like I've seen this in, I don't know, a joke shop or something, but it's like something you can put in an envelope and, like, set, and then when they open it, it makes this, like, snapping noise.
Mhm.
And that was Dawson's prank. That was actually Dawson's prank.
Yeah.
Oh, also, can I just go back to a moment when Grams, when they, like, say goodbye to Cliff and Jen comes in, and Grams refers to him as good stock, which is, A, is something you would hear for, like, livestock and animals, but B, is just, harkens to eugenics. Is
Yeah.
just like, wouldn't he be a fine specimen for you to take his seed?
I was also like, maybe from her time, you had to marry a guy usually. So maybe she's like, he's pretty great. He has some status.
Yeah, I
Choose
mean, if you
him.
feel that you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so when Jen gets the prank, like she realizes it's from Dawson, she seems pretty like delightfully happy about it. And then
Mhm.
she's tells Grams, actually it's for you. So she could play the prank on Grams.
Yeah.
We end with Joey and Dawson in Dawson's bedroom. They're talking about how Dawson was really scared when Joey seemed like she was dead. And then
Yeah.
she's just this whole conversation's outrageous. She's like, "Yeah, like it seemed like maybe you would be sad if I did die."
Yeah. It just goes on and on, them talking, basically asking each other, like, "So what if I died?" And that's, like, intimacy?
Yeah, but he says like it you dying would be like the worst possible thing I could imagine. To which Joey's like
Yeah.
smiling. It's just weird.
Just the weirdest smile. Just the weirdest smile. But it's like, it's so, but also this is how sometimes humans express feelings, is through really weird conversations and really weird analogies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Dawson asks the same question and she nods and then Dawson asks if she wants to, like, stay the night. So
Mhm.
she does, and she's like, "Yeah, let's just pretend the world is a safe and happy place to live." While she pulls back the covers, the last prank, there's, like, fake bugs
Yeah,
on the side of the bed that she's sleeping on, which I realized they always lay on the same side of the bed.
like an old married couple.
Yep. Joey's gotta be closer to the window.
Oh, yeah, that
She
makes
comes and
sense.
goes. Anyway, so, they're laying in bed and they turn on the news, and on the news, there's a reporter saying that the lady killer was caught, and it shows the same guy who approached Joey on screen and that
Mhm.
he was caught in Capeside. Both Joey and Dawson look at each other silently,
Yeah.
and yeah, Joey did almost die.
Yeah, if that had escalated any further.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a creepy man, he was a dangerous creepy man.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a, like, a fun little button to the episode.
Yeah. They will never bring that up ever again.
Yeah, sometimes things happen and you just kinda move on with life, and then, like, 8 years later, you're like, "Do you remember when that happened?" But yeah, they're
Yeah.
just like, "This was the episode with the serial killer."
Yep. Okay, so I have 2 fun facts.
Great.
Okay, so the woman who played Ursula, introduced her sister to James Vanderbeek, and
Mhm.
they got married and were married for 7 years.
Huh,
Yeah, just useless facts. Um,
yeah. She's like, "Hey,
and
I have this really weird role. Do you wanna meet this guy?"
yeah, who knows? Maybe her sister was, like, pretty young and liked James Vanderbeek because he was, like, I think he was considered a hottie, right? He
I don't
had the
know.
hair.
I guess so.
Yeah, and then the one other fact is that we will no longer be seeing Cliff. He gone.
Yeah, that's something that came up when I was trying to look up the episode order thing. It was alluded to in the Reddit thread that he moved on to be on the show Felicity or something.
Yeah. Which I watched that show, like, I binged it. I don't remember a damn thing. She's in college. There's a guy she's kind of obsessed with. She cuts her hair after the first season, and everyone freaked out. Like, anyway, that's all I
I have
really
not watched
remember.
that show. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, those are some fun facts.
Yeah.
I know my answer, but I will turn it on you first. Whose creek is it?
Whose creek is it?
Is it the serial killer?
I mean, he is only in this episode.
Mm.
I guess I'll say I guess I'll say Jen. I mean, I could also say it's Cliff. We learn a lot about Cliff.
My answer is that it's Cliff's Creek this week. And only this week because apparently he's gone. Because I was like, about 15 minutes ago, I started like thinking about it, and I was like, no, no. The person I've been most intrigued by, the person I've been most wondering about was Cliff.
Hmm. If we're no, if we're talking about who made us think about them a lot, I'd have to say it was Ursula's grief.
I mean, also that.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a toss-up because it's kind of like all their storylines are happening together.
Yeah. But I think the person that I spent the most time trying to wrap my head around and trying to either identify them being inconsistent or trying to figure out what their deal was, but also being kind of like heartwarmed by was Cliff. Because it's, when you see someone just flailing and being a total bozo, but with such earnestness, you're kind of just like, I hope you figure it out. You
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm wondering if I wanna say it's Cliff's Creek.
don't have to. You can say Jen, you can say Ursula.
I don't know, it's hard to say, like, I mean, a lot was going on with Jen, but she was being very annoying in some ways, like, like, "I broke up with you, but also I still want your attention."
Yeah, that's true. She was. This is a big episode of her just being. That is the thing I've noticed about her in recent episodes is this sort of like when she says no, she's just very easily pushed. Like if you give her just a little bit of pushback, she's like, okay.
Mhm. You know, I think I will agree with you that it's Cliff's Creek. Because there will be plenty more of Jen's Creek, and Cliff will no longer be around. But also, like, yeah, it was fun to just watch him be a dumb teenage boy.
Yeah, just be a dum dum.
It was Cliff's Creek. Nice alliteration.
Yeah, but I also I see how you could get to Jen because it's sort of I see it.
Yeah.
Is any other parting thoughts or feelings?
No. How about you?
That's okay. Not really. I think we did a really great job considering it's a weeknight. It's like a Thursday night after we both worked all day and are in pajamas. And I'm proud of us for making it this far.
Yeah. I know we're in double digits. We're doing great.
We're closing in on the end of season 1.
Yeah, which I forgot that this season is, like, shorter because I think it was started, like, in the middle of, a typical TV season.
Mm,
Like, I heard that it took the place of some other show, and I tried researching what that other show was, but I couldn't find anything, so maybe it's not true, or maybe it was such a failure that it's lost on the internet.
maybe.
But the following seasons have, like, 20-ish episodes, but yeah, this one, I think I don't know the exact one, like 13, 14 episodes?
Something like that.
Yeah. Alright. Well, the next episode is called Beauty Contest.
Ooh. Can't wait to
Yeah.
see Dawson and Pacey all dolled up.
Yeah. You might be a little more right than you think.
Oh, well, we'll find out next week.
Yeah. We
Awesome.
did
Well,
it.
thanks for listening. Thanks for listening, listeners. Follow us on social, even though we haven't had time to do any of it. Or just follow us on your podcast platform and give us a rating, preferably a good one. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. All publicity is good publicity, as long as it's
Yeah,
not really bad things.
yeah. So hit the little star thingy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.